All right. All right. Let me know if you can hear me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Use the comment section. Let me know if you can hear me. Just drop your comments. Drop your comments so I can see that you are there. Oh, great. Welcome, Abraham Makonjola. Welcome on this live session with me. Oh, yes. Welcome. I can see you. Work of God. That's cool. That's cool. All right. Let's do well to invite our friends. If you have enemies, send this link to them. Let them be a part of this conversation tonight. It's going to be an awesome moment. And believe you me, this is the best time for them to join this because they might not be able to after this session. So, all right, if you are joining us, drop your comments. Let your comments join the comments we have there as we kickstart. And you can also let us know where you are joining from Nigeria, from outside the country. If you are from Nigeria, just tell us which state you are watching from. Yeah, just let's quickly do that. Where are you seeing this from? Okay, I think the people we have on the call on the session, this live session, are joining us from heaven. So you are joining us from heaven. That's why you cannot tell us where you are joining us from. So we just assume that you just came back from, or you currently from heaven. Okay, United States of Ibadan. That's cool. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome to the United States of YouTube. Welcome. So good to have you. All right, let's is it good to kickstart now? Okay. All right, we're having more people on the call. You're welcome. Tell us where you're watching from. Someone is watching from the United States of Ibadan. All right. That's just one of the ways to tell yourself that. Okay, let me talk. That. Yeah. So we want to assume that if you are not telling us where you're watching from, then you must be watching from heaven. You're watching from heaven for you to keep quiet and not tell us. I'm gonna kickstart this conversation in the next 2-3 minutes. While we do that, kindly share this link with your friends. Share your status, go to their DMs, tell that fellow, that's your friend, that guy, you need to be here, right? And like I said, if you have enemies, go to their DM, tell them to be here. All right, Abraham Makonjola, Ile, Osun State. So good to see you. So good to have you here. So, all right. So, call your friends. Tell them it's going to be hot tonight. Right. I believe I believe those living are going to call their friends. Okay. So tonight we're having our first official session. The last one we had was mighty, was a very beautiful one, but that was to just like an appetizer, right? Just to prep you for what is coming. Um, so we have stayed long enough preparing, enjoying, and I would also like to say that we may likely change the time of meeting or um, the consistency of meeting. We, like I said, that it's going to be once every month, like maybe the first weekend of the month. I feel no, we're not going to get the best of this like that. So might have to make it bi-weekly. All right. I just want you to get the best of this, you know. So that's why we are changing it. So I believe someone should be excited for that. All right. Okay, I think we should kickstart. So tonight, we're going to be having a particular conversation, and as a foundation for that conversation, I would like us to read two scriptures, right? Two scriptures. Two scriptures. Genesis chapter 2 from verse 7. That's the first scripture we'll be reading. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. The Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground the Lord God made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life was also in the midst of the garden, and a tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it parted and became four rivers. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one which skirts the whole land of Avila, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. Bdellium and the onyx star stones are there. Verse 13, the name of the second river is Gion. It is the one which goes around the whole land of Cush. 14, the name of the third river is Edekel. It is the one which goes towards east of Assyria. The fourth river is the Euphrates. Verse 15, then the Lord took the man and put him in the garden to tend and to keep it. The Lord took the man, put him in the garden of Eden to tend and keep it. Right? The second scripture we'll read as we dive deeper, Philippians 2 from verse 12. Philippians 2 from verse 12. Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it is God who works in you, both to will and to do for his good pleasure. 14 says, do all things without complaining and disputing. Okay, so the idea of work started long time ago. WORK started a long time ago, and in fact, it started before man was came to the scene. God worked, and if you read account of Genesis, you see the Bible saying that, and God rested at a point, right? God rested from all his works. He rested from his works. God rested from his works. So meaning that the first person to start work was God. The first person to start work was God. Then man was also working. So that should first and foremost clarify in your heart that work is not a cause. Do you get that? Work is not a cause. When man fell and he was sent out of the Garden of Eden, um, you would agree with me that the man was not cursed. The man that was already blessed was not cursed. The ground was cursed because of the transgression, the rebellion of the man. But the curse was not placed on the man because God has blessed him and God will not curse him. You see that? God has blessed the man and God will not curse the man. Right? So when the man fell, God did not place a curse on the man. Instead, God placed a curse on the ground where the man was supposed to work. So the idea of work, okay, let's see, before the fall, that was what we saw, Genesis 2 and verse Genesis 2 and verse um um yes, sorry, I want to check that specific verse. Yes, for yes, 15. Then the Lord took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and to keep it. Do you understand? That was when God first formed the man. So he put the man in the garden to tend and to keep it. Another word for that is to cultivate and to guard it, to walk it and to protect it. Do you see that? So it means the idea of work came long before the man fell, before the man sinned. I get what I'm saying. I get what I'm saying. So to work is not a cause. Are you getting? To work is not a cause. What was caused was a ground. So what made working difficult was because the ground the man has to till now is being caused. The ground the man has to till is being caused. So I need to lay that foundation, and you will get to understand why I laid that foundation as we proceed. So God did something when he was done creating the man. He created a garden in Eden, and in that garden, he put the man to tend and to keep it. And I said that word means to cultivate and to guard. To cultivate and to guard. So, and you see that it looks like God did not have a work for the man until he there was something already that he has made, right? So God did not demand labor from the man without a work from his own end. God did not demand work from a man. Look at it now. He did all of the things he did and now said the man to come and work. So he will not give you a work or will not demand labor from you without first investing, in you. God will not ask you to be fruitful if you have not first invested seed. He will not ask you to keep a garden and make the garden work. He has not first given you a garden. All right. So it means every work you will do, a man will do, will be preceded by the work God has done. Now, when God walked and rested, that was when he put a man in the garden to work. I get what I'm saying. And that same idea was what Philippians 2 was telling us. that you should work out your salvation with fear and trembling, because it is God who works in you both to will and to do. So on the premise of God's work in you, you should work out. So there are two forms of work there. There is a work going within you. There's a work going without. God works within. You work without. God works within. You work without. In the case of Adam, God walked. Are you getting? God walked before Adam came on the scene. God, planted a garden. Then God gave the man, handed the garden over to the man, for the man to walk it, for the man to keep it, for the man to tend it, for the man to protect it, to guard it. Are you get what I'm saying? So it looks like God would. So if God says to Adam, walk, tend after this, it means that there must be a measure to see whether he has done well or not, right? So God was expecting fruit. God was expecting, you know, and if you look at the story very well, you will see that he didn't only plant a garden. God planted a garden and made water to, put a river to water the garden. So in a real sense, what God was saying is that I'm done with this work. Just ensure that it's functioning well. Let me give you a good example of what I'm saying. So imagine you go to the market to get a generator, a new generator. What do you call it? Oshara, right? So you bought this generator. Um, it's new. Probably you also you got fuel, you got oil. Is it diesel now? Oil, yeah. We now say go and use it and ensure you look after it, tend it and keep it. So how you tend and keep it is not just in using the generator, it is in ensuring that at the appropriate time you service the generator even while you are using it. I get what I'm saying. At the appropriate time, you put fuel when you're supposed to put it. You call for you call those who are expert in whether the gen is doing well to help you check. Is this going well? Is it I'm supposed to do it? So you see, it is not just in the usage, it is in how the gadget is managed. Do you understand? This is how the gadget is managed. So when God created me and said, take, tend it, keep it. So it is whatever I'm able to make out of it that would, that will matter, not just um he said I should work and you just get up every day, you're working. No, right? He said I should work, you just get up every day, you're looking at it and say, okay, what do I do? No, it has to be that you know what is the mind of the one who gave you the work to do, so that you will not just use the grace, the ability, whatever he has given you, the tools you have been given to work, but you will work exactly the way he wants you to work. And that gadget he has given you will not maybe get spoiled, right? Through use. So God put a man there and told the man to work. But the first thing we are seeing is that there was a work on the part of God first. I've mentioned a few things. One is that to work is not a curse. Working is not a curse. If you are too lazy to work and you are excusing yourself from work because you feel it's a bad thing, it's a curse, then you are not getting things straight. You do not understand how life works. Even God worked. You get what I'm saying? That's the first thing. Second thing is that God will not demand where he has not first invested. God will not lay claim, will not require fruit where he has not first invested. When God told the man to be fruitful, he first blessed the man. And God blessed the man and said, be fruitful. Right? Several times I've tried to, interpret that scripture anytime I have the opportunity I've always said that it is beyond prayers or decree or declaration of blessing, but more like an instruction. So when God said he blessed the man and he said, be fruitful, right? So I get what I'm saying, that God will not demand fruit where he has not invested blessing. Yeah, he will not demand fruit right? Where he has not invested grace. He will not demand work when he has not first worked. So that is how God works within and we work without. God expects to see in our lives certain results, certain progress, because there's a release of grace in our direction. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if, now look at it, if peradventure you missed the part where God worked or supplied grace, and the only thing you heard is God's demand of you, God's work, required work, right? It means that somewhere along the line, He must have released the grace for the work. Do you get what I'm saying? He will not, he will not come back to expect fruit where He has not dropped seed. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's the order from Genesis. From Genesis. So it was easy for him to say, "Yeah, man, come." Put him in the garden and said, you know, ensure that you tend this garden, you cultivate it. You cultivate. When you cultivate, right? You clear the bushes, you plant when you should plant, you water. Do you understand? You water the fruit, the seed in the earth. You come again after the seed has started germinating, you clear the bushes around. What are you doing? You are tending. You are tending after it, right? And you keep it. That is, you guard it in case there is any what they used to call these guys that come and destroy your crop. You know, you your work is to guard what God has given. Your work is to keep and tend and look after what God has given. So, and that leads us to say that you have no work until you have known God's work. You have no work until you have known God's work. I used to say this also, that even the devil has no work until God has spoken. When God, released out the punishment for the man for his offense and all, he said that to the woman, he said the seed of the woman will bruise the head of the serpent, and the serpent will bruise the heel. After then, the devil started looking for the seed of the woman to kill the woman, to kill the seed, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Meaning that everybody is waiting for God to just speak, to just do something. So if you have been working, right, doing something, and without first asking what is God doing, then maybe you have been doing the wrong thing. If you have been tilling, if you have been grinding, keeping and tending. Do you know people can run? They can work on the wrong assignment. People can do what is not what they are not supposed to do. People can flourish in an assignment that is not theirs. I guess what I'm saying. People can pick up a task that has not come directly from God. Do you understand? Do you get what I'm saying? People can't do that. So that should not be your case here, because you want to first look at what God is doing before you work. So ask yourself a question. What are you doing? What work are you working? Right? Is that what God is doing? And you see, this is why even in our lives, we tend to compare ourselves. Because you are supposed to work out in your life what God is working within you. Not work out in your life what God is working within your neighbor. Not work out in your life what God is working in your friend's life. Right? Do you get what I'm saying? You are to work out as God works in you. You are to push, to try and build as you see God build. You are not meant to look at any other template while you are working. So there are different categories of people that you now find around this conversation. First, there are people who don't work at all. There are people who don't work. They don't work. They are they are allergic to work. And that was why I first mentioned that to work is not a curse. Work is not a curse. I guess what I'm saying. So don't be allergic to it. Don't be in the category of people who don't work, who don't like work, right? As a matter of fact, it was Paul speaking in Second Thessalonians, I think 3. I was talking about there are people who have loved idleness. They walk in it, and they become busybodies. They should be busy with their works, right? He also said that if you cannot work, then you should not eat. If you cannot work, you should not eat. Now, copy and paste this scenario in this conversation in different scenarios. If you do not work, if you can't work, you should not eat. So work is should I call it a blessing? It is a blessing to work. So when you understand this, when you understand it at the foundational stage, it gives you joy. God worked. I've always said that God was a creator. You should be a creator. And that word for that is that God is a worker. You should be a worker. God worked. God worked. So you should work. You should work things. As a matter of fact, when you see things not going the way they should go, or not looking beautiful the way they should look, you should seek ways to work them out. Do you understand? You seek ways to make them work. Because that should be I think that should be the first attribute of God you should inherit. God blessed him and said, be fruitful. In other words, go and work. Go and work. We talk about the creative ability of God, and as humans generally, the first one we should emulate is the creative ability of God. What is that creativity? Working, seeing things that are not in the right shape, looking at your life, not really, awesome as it should, right? But working it. So if you do not like work, then maybe you have another God. So the foundation of this world, of this universe, was on work. The foundation of this universe was work. The earth was without form, everything was void, there was shapelessness, there was darkness, and God rolled his sleeves and began to work. God rolled his sleeves and began to work. You find out that when you don't like when you don't like what the outcome of your life is, it must be because, and you are complaining, you are murmuring, it must be because you are very lazy and you don't know that you should roll up your sleeves and begin to work. You must not have learned your own laziness from God. And this is why you see that believers don't really understand this. And most believers who don't work use prayer as cover up. We see things not going well, we just go and shakalaba, 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 shakalaba. We now block our minds from what we should do because we do not want to work. Do you see it now from the template that it was a cooperation between God and the man? And God asked the man to work before because he has first worked. And in the case of you praying, seeking the face of God, it might be that what God's work is him, releasing ideas, grace, supply you with whatever tools. And you must leave that place of prayer to go and till. Go and work it. So we have people who don't like work. See, we still get to the part where, because they used to say there is work smart, work something. But see, just get the idea that I am actually a co-worker in the business of my life. I am a co-worker in the business of shaping the world, shaping my life, shaping the community, society around me. I'm a co-worker. So we say God creates. Yes, I think the reason why we have silenced this part is because most of the time we're always focusing on the fact that God created with words. So and see what people do too. People say, I create my words, I create my word, my words. I create my words, my words. So they will talk and talk and talk, and they will not do. They will talk and talk and talk. They will not do. You get what I'm saying? You just create your word with your words. You walk it. Do you understand? You walk it. You get to work. You get to work. Tell yourself, I get to work. You roll up your sleeves. It's time to work. Have you been to the farm before, and or maybe a factory where you have to work? You forget your steeds because it's time to work. It's time to work. All right. So this is a mentorship session. It's not a church gathering, and I'm going to, be raw, be as raw as possible with you, right? And it's just me sharing you with my philosophies about life, about scriptures too. Talk about any man of God that you see doing well. They didn't just call those things out with their words only. They worked it. They stayed with it. Right? They worked it. They worked it. God worked. Man must work. God worked. Man must work. God worked. Man must work. Jokingly, where I was talking the house this morning, I said, look, come to think about it. Come to think about it. What God said He will give the man. That should be Psalms where this is Psalm 16. It says, it is vain to sleep up late and to wake up. Let me look for that scripture. And he said that only he said it is vain to sit up late and wake up early only to eat the bread of sorrow, but God give His beloved sleep, something like that. All right. I just occurred to him that wait, what God give His beloved is sleep, rest, not sleep as in sleep like your life depends on it. Right? God gave His beloved work, but this work is work from rest, right? Because imagine what God asks you to do after He has done everything. Imagine the work God is still asking from you after He has done everything. That is why our nation will not change, our society will not change if we are not ready to roll up our sleeves and work. Our lives will not change. It's where our families, nothing will work until we are ready to work it. Nothing. Even families you envy, homes you love, and you always desire to have something like that. They didn't just start talking. No, they work things out. They work. It is between two people who decide to probably say, guys, well, let's work this. Let's make it work. And you find out that any home, any relationship, friendship, love relationship that um probably they have to they have to part ways, it means that either of the parties have decided to give up on work. Do you get what I'm saying? Any relationship that probably eventually um scattered, right? Either of the parties gave up on work. They gave up on work. So there is nothing you see out there working that was not worked. And there is nothing that will work in anybody's life without it being worked. You cannot wish your way to to that height, to that altitude. You cannot. You cannot. You must work. You must work. God worked. You must work. Another set of people are those who work, but they don't know the work they should be doing. Right? So it means that some people are actually working, but they are in the wrong work. Right? They are working, but they are in the wrong work. Like I told you, that if God makes a demand from you, it means that he has first supplied, equipped you for the demand. Go and take it anyway. Go and take it anyway. If you just feel like there's something God is putting in my heart now, it's because there's already a release of tools for that phase, that assignment in your life. Anywhere, anything. It means there is first a release. There is a capacity you have to get it done. Right. Right. So, but people, people can pick works based on what they see, right? Based on sentiments. People can get onto something just because they just feel, okay, this person is doing it and I will do it. So there are people who are actually working, but they are not doing the work they should be doing. Why? Because they are not looking onto God. They are not seeing God. They can't peek into the mind of God to know what exactly they should be working. And see, listen to me. There's difference between success and fulfillment. Because if you don't understand the difference, you will think that success should be the yardstick for you doing well. Because it is possible for you to be successful in the wrong assignment. You can be successful in the wrong work. Sometimes it is just, it is reactant. They call it reactant and product. If you can get the reactant right, you will get the product right. But somewhere in your heart of hearts, you know that you are not having a sense of fulfillment even after you have done all of this. Even after you have done all that you have done and you have done them well, got A plus B right, giving you A plus B, or A times B, giving you AB, right? But after you are done, you know that you are not feeling fulfilled. That's why you see that it is possible for you to be in an assignment in a particular work, and and of course, maybe that work is actually paying you. I mean, paying you cash. Let me use a literal example here, right? But there's something else you are doing that you're not paid for, but you're always happy doing that thing. There is something you are doing, you are not being paid, but there is a sense of fulfillment. There is a feeling of joy you have every time you have the privilege of doing this. If you are that kind of person, just say I'm here, right? And there are things that every time you have the opportunity to just do this. I'm a kind of person that when I have the opportunity to help people gain clarity, to share my ideas, to bring people from point A to point B, right? To communicate with people, to share my powerful insights, and I could see the lights on their faces. I'm so happy. I'm so glad. Are you get what I'm saying? That even if I'm not paid for it at the moment, or if I'm not rewarded for it, because being rewarded for what you do might not just be money. Yes, might not be about money, right? There are different reward systems, right? But I am not even rewarded for it. Nobody is recognizing you. Nobody is saying, you did try. But you do it, you are so glad. I get what I'm saying. So that is fulfillment. Is different from success. So that is why you cannot use success as a yardstick for um, progress or for you doing well in life, because you can be successful in a wrong work. Do you get that? You can be successful in wrong work. So, but fulfillment is what makes you feel yes, right? I get what I'm saying, and is at that point you have truly connected with what God is doing within, and you can replicate it as a co-worker, right? As a creator that in this part of the divide. So you don't want to be in this category to those who are working, but they don't know nothing about what they are doing. They're not doing the right work, right? Third are those who have seen God, who have seen His work in their lives, and they are actively doing the work. And this is the category I would like to invite you to be a part of, right? Because that's always the order. That's always the order. That is as God works that we work. It's as it till that we till. It's the step it takes we take. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? So now what I said is I'm not trying to say that what is it now? Yes, that you are looking at what's God doing now. That's I'm not it's not that spooky, right? I'm just saying that you must first know that it's not a crime to work. It's not a crime to work. Whatever has been given to you, whatever you have with you, you must be ready to work it, right? And you see, let me say this. Let me say this. You will see that in the Philippians 2 we read, there are three things. There is the will to do, there is the power to do, and there is the work. Please pay attention. You can type those three things out. It says you should work out your salvation with fear and trembling, because it is God who works in you both to will and to do. There are two works: God's work and your work. God's work and man's work. So you have no right to work until God has worked within you. Right? God's Take note of that. God's work and your work. Of course, what do you want to do when you have not known what God is doing? You are idle until God has, until you have seen what God is doing. There is nothing to do until God has set out to work. So God's work and man's work. And it says you work out your own because it is God who works in you. So it means God is actively working. But where is he doing the work? In you. God is doing the work within you. Right? Are you seeing that? So I am to work out as God works in. I am to work out as God works within. And that's why you see that if God is going to change the world, it changes me first. If God is going to change my society, it changes me first. Because I'm the contact point to this world. So God works within me so I can walk out. It is when you walk out that you become a better person, that you can serve your world better, you can serve your friends. Do you understand what I'm saying? So God works within, I work without. So there are two works there. Now let's spend God's work, man's work, and now see what God does exactly. So he said God works in you both to will and to do. God works in you both to will and to do. Another word is that God works in you to desire and to enable. Another way to say that is that God works desire into you, gives you the will. You feel that you just desire that thing, you just felt like doing it. You didn't just do it. God worked it into your heart. Do you understand what I'm saying? You didn't just feel like that's God's working within you. Right? So he works desire, he works the will, he works in us both to will. So he supplies two things in his work. He put in us the will and give us the power to carry out the will. Do you get that? God supplies the will and supplies the power to carry out the will. Let me say that again. God supplies the will, the thought, the desire. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the thought I think towards you, the thought of peace and not of evil, so you can have an expected end." God's thoughts towards you, when it escapes the mind of God into your mind, it becomes the will of God. Do you get that? God's thoughts that is thinking towards you, the thought of peace and not of evil, when it escapes his mind, into your heart, it becomes God's willing, right? God's will. Do you understand? So you see that God is just God willing something in your heart. So as he's doing that, he's working. So he works in you both to will. And he will not just put the will and stop there. He now puts the power to carry out the will. Because that you know what to do does not mean you will do it. That you know what to do does not mean you will have the power to do it. So what God will supply is the will, the desire, right? And supplies the ability, the enablement, the energy, The grace. That's what we call grace. When we say we release grace for work, grace for exploit. You see that? You see, exploit will come in two ways now. There's first a will in your heart, then there's a grace for it. You follow what I'm saying? There's a grace for it. So it is on this premise, right, that I should walk out. So I walk out with fear and trembling as God works within me, both to will and to do. Does that make sense now? Philippians 2:12 and 13. Philippians 2:12 and 13. I walk out as God works within me, both to will and to do. Is that making sense? Right? So now you see that God will do his part, he will supply his part. If nothing is working, it means it's you are not working it. Yeah. God will always do his part. For it is God who works in you both to will and to do. That's why you see that there are many ideas that have come into your heart. There are things, he's just doing his own part. He works in you both to will and to do. He works in you both to will and to do. But don't forget the first category of people that I mentioned. Some people don't work. They don't like the idea of work. And that's why I started by sharing with you that to work is not a curse. Work. To work is not a curse. Let's look at this. There is this story I would like to use this night. Because I found out that actually it takes effort to be lazy. It takes effort to be stupid. It takes effort to have no fruit. It takes effort. Yeah, it takes effort. The one who is working out and seeing the result of his work, and the one who is not working or seeing the result of his work, they are both putting in effort. Yeah, I'm going to show you. You can also copy and paste. It takes effort to be poor. No, our conversation is not about money, it's not about anything. Everything I'm saying. I've mentioned fulfillment here today, meaning that at even when you have all the money in this world and you are not in the right assignment, the right work, and not fulfilled, there maybe there's something you are missing. I'm looking for the story. That should be Matthew. Oh wait. Okay. So it takes effort to be fruitless, to be unfruitful. Let me just share the story. Do you remember that guy with talent, with one talent? Do you remember that guy? That the master gave three of them different talents, and there was one that was given one. You know, when I saw the story of this guy, I was just like, my God. You know what the guy did? So the guy went, dug the earth, and kept the talents. He kept the talents there, right? And when the master came and started asking, what have you done with this? The one with is it three now, two came with double, the one with five came with double, and the one with one, you know what he said? Said, I know that you, my master, you're a wicked person now. Very wicked. You would like to sow, to reap what you have not sown. How do you give me one and expect me to? Tell me, I've dug the earth and kept it there. And the master rebuked him and said, this effort that you took to dig the earth and keep this one, you should have kept it with the bankers. Do you get what I'm saying? The guy actually took effort to dig and kept the talent, kept the money. So it means it takes effort to be fruitless. Do you understand what I'm saying? You'd have thought that he was so slothful, so lazy that he cannot even lift the money out of his pocket, because that talent was not just talent as we think. It's money. Go and trade it. Go and do business with it, right? So you would have thought he was so slothful that he cannot dip his hand. Well, there's a place. Proverb says that see, he's slothful. He's too lazy to even, you understand, to dip his hands into the bowl and put it in his mouth. Some people are very lazy like that. That When they dip their hands into their pocket, they'll be so lazy that to remove the hand. Do you understand? So you would have thought that the guy was just very slothful. Maybe he kept the money in his hand or in his house. No, he went and dug and kept the money. So that thing he did, he could have carried the same energy and probably gone to the bank and say, let me invest this money. And that's what the master was saying. That if you cannot do business, like going actively doing business, why not go and give this to people who can do business with it? You understand what I'm saying? That is, go and work it out. Make sure it works. So look at it. Wherever you are in your life, it took you effort to be there. It took you a lot of effort to be there. It took you a lot of effort to be poor. It took a lot of effort to be this, whatever. It took a lot of effort to be unproductive. It took a lot of effort to be unfruitful. It took a lot of effort to be mentally poor. It took a lot of effort, right? When you should be reading and impact on your ability to think, you just sleep. It took you effort to sleep. It took you effort to carry yourself and just watch movies for the whole 5 days and not one day, sparing one day to just learn. It took you effort. So I'm now beginning to doubt laziness. Laziness is not just laziness as we think, because even those who are lazy, they are supplying energy, supplying effort to empower, to nurture laziness. How you get what I'm saying now? So you work out as God works within. You work out as God works within. You don't just sit down idle, you know, just expecting that one day I'll blow. One day this song, I will sing, and one day, you know, we always wish for a lot of things. You wish that one day you two will be calling you to come and sing everywhere, but you never put in the work. You wish that one day your music will be ranked the first on Spotify, on Apple um, Music, but you will never sit down and cook a very good song. You cook a song, a shabby song, and you expect the Holy Ghost to just cover it up. We will not put in the work that is required. We are too, not me, I'm not part of that category. I follow what I'm saying. You must be ready to work out as God works within you. As God works within. As God works within. It's not as God works within your friend, or around with people around you. It is what you see God doing that you do. I get what I'm saying. It means that the the whole um reason why, the motivation behind your life work and all of that must be something that stems from an eternal realm, right? You get what I'm saying? That I'm not just here because I see someone doing this. I'm not just here because it must resonate with you. There must be a confirmation within you that yes, this God has willed it within me, and I'm going to work it out. So the resolution you want to make first and foremost is that work is not a curse. It is not. Hmm. Do you also remember that um, Genesis 26? Do you remember this guy, Isaac? When God told him to stay in Gerar, that's where he was going to bless him. That was the only instruction that we read. The next thing we saw was he went and he planted, he sowed in the land. The Bible said that he reaped 100 folds. That same year, where there was famine in the land, he sowed. God did not. There was no explanation or description of where God told him to sow. The only thing God told him or assured him was the blessing. Do you get what I'm saying? Was the blessing. Do you get? the blessing, the dew. But somehow he just sat down and said, what do I do with the blessing? What do I do with the release of grace? What do I do with the shower of blessing that is upon me? I need to work it. I need to make it work. And that is why you see, that's where you see that it does not matter whether the ground is cursed or not. There is something on the head that the ground will respond to. There is something on my head that the earth will respond to. So what makes the ground tillable, if there's a word like that, is or easy to till is now the particular thing that does distinguish set me apart, right? So I'm not supposed to, and I'm talking to church folks, and I'm going to eat it without mincing words. So I'm not supposed to just go and kneel down, and they lay hands on me. You'll be blessed, and I'll go back. Amen. I'm gonna sit down and say, He said, I'll be blessed. He said, I'll be blessed. I'll be blessed. You get what I'm saying? Starting with the consciousness that every time you step out, you're working, doing anything, you are just going around. There's a consciousness that the nature will not reject me. All right, you get what I'm saying? You started working it. Intentionally going to knock certain doors because you know that there's a blessing upon you. Intentionally going to push certain doors. There are doors that you will not even wait, because if you keep knocking, they may not open on time. That you have to push yourself. All right, that something has to push you. That was what happened to Isaac. Say, okay, God said, this is the land He will bless me. God said, this land will bless me. It means that nothing stopped me from planting. Nothing stopped me from planting. If Isaac was a tech guy, he would be thinking of how to ensure that this tech thing work. Or if he was a musician, he'd be thinking of how to ensure that this music thing work. But it was not. It was like what is it called? These guys, nomadic guys who go about with their property, with their belongings, and they plant. Was it like a farmer? So it means that this way you're going to bless me, so nothing stop me from working. This way you're going to bless me, nothing stop me from working. This way you're going to bless me, nothing stop me from working. And that is how we get the best of God, right? That's how we get the best of God. When you are blessed, don't just sit down with it. When prayers is made, when declaration of prophetic words are made over you or decreed over you, you just don't just sit down. Then get on to work. It is time for you to work. Tell yourself, it is time for me to work. It's time to work. So you cannot be lazy. The same energy you have been using to just be being lazy up and down, roll up your sleeves. Roll up your sleeves. Roll up your sleeves. Are you following? Let me know if you can follow. You can hear me if you're following. Anytime I see people, it is well. Now, it's good for us to use our imagination, to use our minds. One of the best gifts God has given you is to imagine. But there's something we do. There's something we call wishful thinking. And believers, yes, believers, there's a thin line between that wishful thinking and hope and confession of faith or of positive words. And we don't know. Sometimes we switch to wishful thinking. See, all I'm telling this because I've been caught in that kind of web before. I just wishing and wishing and wishing and wishing. Wish. When are you going to come to pass? Eh. There's a song we used to sing then. Let me sing that song for you. Forere dán mi wò, bóyá mi ò ní ṣọpẹ́. That song means, Lord, test me with good things. God will not test you with good things. I get what I'm saying. He won't test you with good things. You must be ready to put in the work. Roll up your sleeves and work. God worked. You should work. God worked. You should work. God did so much with his darkness. What are you going to do with yours? In the beginning, what God had, everything he had on the earth was the shapelessness, was the darkness, was the void. And God looked at it like this and said, let there be light. You see, John, the book of John gave us clearer. It says, beginning was the word was from God, and God was the word, right? In him was light, and light was the life of men. He said, the light shines in darkness, and darkness cannot comprehend it. That light shined from darkness. So God called out light from darkness, meaning that one of the assets God had in the beginning was darkness. Darkness was an asset to him, right? And he looked at that darkness and said, wait, if I'm really ready to work, this is a raw material, and I can bring many things out of this. I said, yes, guys, let's get to work. And the first thing you saw was the Spirit of God hovering around. You were ready to work. So we began to make survey and make inquiry. Okay, let's analyze the situation. What's the current situation? How bad is it? They saw it and said, wow, 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 wow. And the moment the Spirit of God was able to send intelligence to God and say, actually, now the idea that the word was without form, was void, and all of that was because of the survey that the Spirit of God had done. Say, Alpha, what is happening here? The situation of the earth is bad. Oh, everything is just there. Is eta scatter, scatter. I said, oh my God. I said, and it evaluated the whole thing. I said, I said, let there be light. Where was that light? The midst of that darkness. I get what I'm saying. They were able to bring light to existence because they were ready to work. The same effort it will take you to sit down idle. Same effort it will take you to embark on the journey of working out your life. The same effort, the same energy, the same energy, the same energy. Are you following what I'm saying? It's the same energy. I want you to type this. That now this is not just to be doing positive confession, and it's not, you have to tell yourself, right? That, oh my God, work is not a curse. Work is not a curse. Work is not a curse. I will not be lazy. I will work out as I see God work within me. And you see the situation, if you are watching from Nigeria, the situation of Nigeria is almost like the same thing. You're not ready to work the country. We just wish that one day God will God will do it. God will not do it. Yeah. God will not do it. God will do it since how many years now that we've seen it? God will not do it. I just have to give you insider information. I get what I'm saying. I get what I'm saying. And you say, God will do it. What kind of irresponsibility is that? We have seen God's work. He will work the will and the power. You will work out. The faith that wants God to work to do everything is an irresponsible faith. Even faith, they say, without work is dead. Right? I said I want to tell you lies. The truth is what I just shared with you. God worked. God worked. And there was no rest until he was done working. God worked. And contextually now, let's bring it home. Let's drive it home. Because I want this to be beyond, to go beyond your regular church. I mean, our normal the way we'll be in church and we want to talk, and we're just using examples. Let's talk to you. Let's talk to ourselves, right? If you came from a background that it has been difficult to really break out of certain norms, certain levels, of impact, of um, financial hardship and all, it will not just break you, huh? It won't just break by wishing for it. You have to work. When I say work, now not saying you go and collect multiple jobs. No, no, no. I get what I'm saying. You have to be ready. And you see, let's even say this. So you will know that most of the time when certain generations keep financial hardship, poverty and all of that and hand it over, it's not because they are lazy. It's not because they are lazy. It's not laziness, right? There are some people who they work. God, do you understand? And but in the midst of it, certain people still wish that something will just be fine, and they will not do what is actually needed, necessary for them to do. Right? They will not do what is necessary. And that's where you now find that the actual work, the energy they are spending is not just the only thing they should do. There are other things they should do, but because sometimes they just feel no, 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 yeah, that one is expensive. This one is cheap. To wish, to think, to hope that things will change is very cheap. Yes, it's very cheap. I said something, I think in our first class, that growth is that why I say growth is expensive, only the restless can afford it, right? I think that's what I said. It is expensive, only the restless can afford it. So if you are looking to break certain patterns that you have been seeing, but that was handed over to you, because they were handed over. You were handed over. It's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's not my fault. It was handed over to me. All right? It was handed over. And you see that even when you understand God's work with you, His assignment in your hands, you're not able to fully fulfill it because you are incapacitated, because you are not loaded with the resources required to carry out the assignment, right? And you can stay for years to wishing that one day will come, one day will come, that I'll be able to do what I should do, that I'll be able to do what I should do. Hmm? But I would like to change your approach from tonight. That merely wishing will not make it work, merely hoping will not make it work. You have to sit down and look at how God did his when he was faced with chaos, with trouble, with everything that came in Genesis, and how he switched to working. And if you are able, see, the book of Genesis is a very rich book that I can bring, I can sit on Genesis 1 to 3 for months, bringing out different things, and it has changed my life a lot. All right. So you need to see that and ask yourself a question. And that's because what I'm saying is this, that you will find out that it is not just about whether they did manual work or putting efforts alone. No. But there are certain habits, there are certain things that they have, certain beliefs that they have that you have to work out. I mean, deal with, chisel out of your mind. All right, certain habits that they had, certain behaviors, because you do not expect to change the outcome of your life if you are so accustomed to the old procedures, to the old ways. If you look at yourself and you look at the people you don't want to become, the kind of people you don't want to become, and you see that there's no difference in your routine, in what you do, in your belief system. Wait, how do you expect to have a different result? Will it work now? You get what I'm saying? Maybe there's a template that, like, I don't like this, I don't want to repeat this, I don't want to become this, I don't like, I love my dad, oh, I love my dad, oh, but you see this part, he didn't get it well, I want to be the one that will break this. Jugular, jugular. You want to break the jugular. But when you look at your routine, look at your habits, look at the things you do around that subject, and it's not different from what the person you do not like used to do on a daily basis. Just know that your tent will not be far from that fellow's tent. It might, do you know, it's possible for you to just pitch your tent not too close. Do you remember the way this guy went and pitched his tent near Sodom? Only for us to read later that he's now in Sodom. That's it. Have you had any breakthrough in your life and you're just saying, ah, thank God, at least I'm better than someone? Only for you to now see that you're not really better. You are within close range, the fellow. And by the time the people who are in charge of changing the outlook, the narrative, now changes, you find out you are now in the same class. Yes, you're now in the same class. I just remembered, I think yesterday or some days ago, I remember and I just laughed. How let me do that. So I remember sometimes ago when I was younger than this, right? And there was this uncle in our family that they said he did money ritual, right? I think he killed like 4 cows and he was doing one event like that. So I remember one other uncle that was saying, even with all the money he think he has, in all the money ritual he did, he doesn't have my money. So sitting down and thinking about that, I was like, wait, is the person I say doesn't have money? What money does he have? He does not have anything, no. You got it. So he was just using that as a yardstick to measure himself. At my time, with a better insight, with being far from that reality, I just found out, wait, what did they have? Both of them, nothing, right? So you do not want to compare yourself or say, let me, at least I'm better. And say, at least me, I traveled. At least me, I went out of the country. My daddy was not able to go out of the country. You can do that and still be there and struggling. Yes, there are people who are really fighting for their lives even after leaving their wretched country, as so to speak. I get what I'm saying. So you don't want that. I'm saying that it's not just about the work, the efforts that people put in change their life. There are different things. So there is a lot of fights, motivating your life, and in turn motivating your outcome. You must be ready to work a thorough work on your mind, on your life, on your outcome, ready to change what you do not like. If you do not like it, change it. And it will take a lot of work. Being hard on yourself. Your greatest enemy is you. Be hard on yourself. Be hard on yourself. You see, at this point of my life, there are some things I cannot do to myself again. You know what that is? One of them is I can't lie to myself. I won't tell myself lies. If I'm not doing well, I will tell myself I'm not doing well. Do you get? Do you understand? If I'm not doing well, I will tell myself I'm not doing well. I've had instances where I talk to people and just feel we are just so hard on me. Like, even me, I'm hard on myself. I'm mad on myself. Mad on myself. Do you know? Right? I'm mad on myself. Because not many of us have the leverages certain people have. And you know that if you are there. You know that. I see people go to church, pray and pray and pray and pray, spend 7 days on the mountain. The morning they were supposed to be thinking and go out and start doing things, they will spend a whole month there praying. See, I'm not against it. What I'm against is the fact that why they are doing that, or they are just hoping that one day something just happen, something just happen. God will just come down from heaven and change things for them. That's not right. And you can trace many of the old things we are seeing to this, what I just mentioned. Don't be that person. Not me. Say not me. that you just pray and wish for things to change. Don't be that person. Be opened to know the steps you take, what you should do, what you should be doing, even as you wait. Because even in certain periods of your life where you should be waiting, you are not supposed to be wasting, right? You're supposed to still be doing something. You're supposed to bear precious seeds. You're supposed to be tilling, planting something. Be doing. Some people say, "I'm in a waiting. God told me to do it." I don't know. Well, I don't want to, start saying what's not. But I found out that there is no waiting period that is an idle period, right? There must be something you are doing. Right? You get what I'm saying? It might just be that in that waiting period you are shielded from limelight, from whatever, but it can't be that you're not supposed to be doing something. And I've met a lot of people, I've seen different kind of people that they just say, God doesn't want them to do anything now. God just want them to be there. And when you look at their routine, what they do, and those that are doing many things, they can't. If you give the schedule of those guys that are working, if you give it to them, they're not able to catch up, because it's just and believers, we have found ways to use prayer as a cover for laziness. The believer that will pray for work, and God bless the believer with the work, and the next day is going to go late to the work, and they will give him task to do. He'll be sluggish on the work and deliver a shabby work. Wait, if God is to be your employer, how do you think he will feel? How do you think you will feel? And then I will pray for open doors. Let clients come from different places. And once the client comes, you are gone. You will not put in the work. Are you learning something? Am I wiping you? Am I? Sorry, but I'm not sorry. We're here to learn, right? So, on another episode, we're going to go deeper into this. But I just need to, chisel out many things. The first is, work is not a curse. It's not a curse. It's a beautiful thing to do. And work came before the man even fell. God started work, and he gave man work. After the blessing, it was work. After the blessing, it was work. After the blessing, it was work. And I said, God will not demand from you if he has not invested in you. Will not require you to get something done if he has not gotten something done in you. Do you see that? I mentioned that it takes effort to be lazy. It takes effort to be unproductive. It takes effort to be poor. It takes effort to be stupid. It takes effort. It takes effort to be where you are currently. It takes effort. You have aided it. You have allowed it. You have given it thumbs up. Well done, my lazy self. Well done. Well done. Don't sleep and sleep and sleep. Just do what you are doing. You have exactly. Someone said all of it comes at a cost. Nothing is cheap. The only thing that is cheap is wishful thinking. The only thing that is cheap is wishful thinking. Do you need anything to think of? Let me help you. Let me tell you what wishful thinking is. Wow. I used to act drama sometimes ago. Wow. So you'll see a job like this that will be paying me $1,000. You pay $1,000, my God. I was forced to go and buy a house in Banana Island. I will call my mom and carry her out. Oh God. Jesus. I've gone to different countries in my mind. Now, not just imagination, just thinking. wishful. You just see someone to dash me, to that my uncle to give me, just call me now and give me $1 million countable dollars. Think about it. You have been thinking about that since like 5 years. They have not given you. Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. Do you understand? Someone will need to stop living in their dreams and start living in their reality. Stop. Come out. Come out. You have tried. It's all right. Stop living in your dreams. Come out. See the reality of things. Imagine God wishing that this earth should just be fine like this, like today bread. Imagine God saying, "My God, this water should just be like this." He faced reality. What is the reality? What's the fact? The fact is this is void and shapeless. Okay, but is there another reality and in another place? Yes. So you have to tap into that reality to begin to create. So it means what you are even imagining is possible, but don't sleep there. What you are thinking is possible, but don't pitch your tent there. Don't build a house there. Many of you have houses in your dreams, your head. You have pitched a tent around it. You can be so serious that you can just you're done with the whole day, just sit down and say, In fact, if something happens that you could not finish the wishful thinking, by the time you come back, you say, where did I stop again? You want to continue. You want to continue building a life, a mirage. You know what a mirage is? Something that is not true. But the only way you get and say, this is not true, just so stop living in your dreams. Get out. If this is the reality, begin to build, begin to work, begin to create. Those things you have seen, you have imagined, bring them here. Ask yourself questions. How do I get on board? How do I be a part of what is going on in my life? How do I be there? How do I get my hands dirty? How? How do I get my hands dirty? Am I saying you should not pray? Am I saying you should not imagine? No, I'm saying you should do both. Do everything together. I'm saying you should pray, you should imagine, you should build, whatever you are building in your mind. But don't let it stop there. Sit down and ask, how do I convert this to an actual house, to an actual building? How do I convert it? How do I? Don't just wish that your business will do it. Think, how do you do it? That is it. Don't just wish that your business will just begin to build the millions. Don't just wish that customers will come. Sit down. Partner with the grace of God on your life. Right? And this is an advantage you have as believers. I can always talk about it. If this is a business meeting, you know what we're saying, the grace of God, right? You all say this strategy, method, right? But there's a grace you have. There's a privilege you have because you are included in Christ. There's a grace that are working you because you know God. Like you can blend religion with. Do you understand? With all of these things we are saying. So partner with that grace. Partner with it. Sit down. Say, God, I know there's something on my head. Like, how do I go about it? What are you telling me to do? What do I do? You know, understand what I'm saying? Like that, you can say, okay, to reach out to these people. Yes. And you see that even as believers, you will not do lesser than those who are not believers. You see that those who are not believers, they are those people that they are very loud about their craft. They are unapologetic about it. They go everywhere. Do you understand what I'm saying? They are loud. Even Jesus worked. He worked. He went about. Let me say he went about. He went about. What was he doing? He was doing good. He was not wishing good. Jesus went about. How God anointed, Acts 10:38. How God anointed Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who sat down, who was wishing. No, who went about doing good. He was not going about imagining good, wishing that good things will happen to the people. He went about, he was distributing it. He was like a philanthropist, distributing good things. Yeah, I have come, I brought this good news for you. He went about doing good. Believers, don't sit down wishing for good things to happen in your life. Don't. Don't. Partner with God's grace over you. Ask yourself questions. Be sincere with yourself. Be sincere. Push yourself. Be hard on yourself. Tell yourself, if you continue this same procedure for the next 3 months, is anything going to change? Are you going to still be praying that God will come and change your life, and He will say, I have changed your life? You have just not partnered with what I'm doing. Ask yourself, if I continue, hold on now. I think this is a good way to evaluate your first quarter. January, February, March, you had New Year resolution, right? Now March has gone. What did you do differently? Nothing. And you're expecting a different result? Could possible. January, February, March, were the same person, maybe just a few little changes, right? You just know a bit of, maybe new things. But you didn't really change who you are. You did not change what you do. You did not change what you do with your time, right? So you want to sit down. If I continue like this for the next 3 years, 3 months again, would there be any good thing from my effort? If just know that if you repeat the same old thing, you get the same old results. That's it. You get the same old results. You get the same old results. I believe you want to go back to your drawing board and ask the right questions and get into work. You want to go back to your drawing board, get back to work, right? I believe you want to do that. So pray, read, study, imagine, and work. Work as God works within you. It is well with you. I believe you have been blessed tonight. You have learned many things, right? I'd actually like to take questions. I don't know if there's anyone with questions. So if you have any question, you can type. In the absence of that, we just call it a night. This is mentorship with Austin Adetunji. If you are not on the platform, you can find a way to indicate. I don't know. Of course, you must have gotten the link to this somehow. So find a way to look for the link to the platform so that you can be a part. You'll be on the platform where you receive news about our meetings, our sessions, right? So it's a 6 month mentorship session that helps you to come out of where you used to be, or that will help you to come out of where you used to be to where you should be, right? And I believe that we have laid a foundation, like we have added a layer to that assignment tonight. All right, so thank you. See you in our next class. God bless you.